Salutations and welcome, my friends, to the evening meditation on the star tetrahedron, the crystalline prism of consciousness and light that opens a sacred doorway, a vortex in the very middle of the star tetrahedron, which is within the area of the heart chakra. It's called the jewel in the lotus, and that's what this is. It is the jewel in the lotus. And as it opens, of course, we know that it opens back into the void from out of which Source originally dreamed creation. So for eons of time, within the void, Source, in its infinite and eternal knowing, simply dreamed ad infinitum. Until finally, Source asked the question in all of this great dreaming, what am I? And that was the moment of the Big Bang when consciousness was literally emanated out into space to be the mirror of what Source had dreamed. So that's exactly what is happening within the world all around us. It's simply the mirror reflecting in consciousness from what Source, the great dreamer, has dreamed. And of course, we know that there is an ongoing dream taking place in the sense that there are black holes at the very center of every galaxy within the universe. And there are literally billions upon billions of galaxies, each holding billions of suns, just like our own, some of them even much, much larger. And each of these then probably having some level of planetary existence around them. So what is taking place in the universe is just beyond amazing, to say the least. But we are gifted with the amazing opportunity upon Earth to be able to have free will. And through free will, we can make choices. And so our choices have been learning about how consciousness informs itself. Those beings who do not have free will, they exist within the planes of spirit, within the planes of light, and they can only do the will of God. And so the dream that is emanating from the void, it has then the consciousness that arises forth, and all the other dimensional beings that don't have free will, they simply follow lockstep those emanations, and yes, informed worlds and create magnificent things, if you will, but it's not done from free will. And so they're not truly creator beings in the sense that they're simply following what has been emanated and what consciousness is reflecting. And so that is, again, the magnificence of planet Earth, that we who also originally existed upon those planes of consciousness, we became rather bored with the whole scene. And we asked ourselves, well, how can we do and play something different? And that's when we, along with many of these great stellar beings of light, emanated and helped co-create planet Earth, a form world that then, through the evolution of life upon it, could finally come to the point in time where consciousness could literally get inside of the form world. And we know that that was about 200,000 years ago, when right brain, left brain within kind of, you might say, early man woman was able to receive consciousness, and then it was beginning to be formulated into this is masculine of action and this is feminine of emotion feeling. And over these last, of course, 200,000 years, we've been learning all there is to know about the masculine of power, the feminine of emotion feeling. And we're here at the point on the planet where we can now marry all this information back together. But once again, we're doing it with free will. And because we then have been able to hone and refine consciousness to once again be the emanation of the star tetrahedron, which opens the doorway back into the void, we can then, through free will, we can then literally move in and through the void and summon out of it the choices of our creation. And so that is, again, the beauty of the opening within the heart. It literally is a doorway, just like a black hole in the very center of a galaxy. It enters back into the void, and then we can make choices and call and summon those forth into creative manifestation, which would be somewhat amazing, if you will, for Source, because we can now dream something new and totally different, something that was unexpected, something that hadn't been, if you will, dreamed before. And so, with that capability, we can even evolve consciousness to be more interesting than what had been developed so far within the universe. And I'm not saying that this is necessarily the only planet within all creation that has that capability, but we know within this particular sector of the universe, within our galaxy, that this is a very special planet. And so we are quite blessed to be here. The other, of course, quite interesting thing about consciousness is that it was originally dreamed within Source and then projected out to be the reflection. But what is reflecting the dream from Source is simply consciousness that is reflecting the dream. And so all creation is simply the dream of Source. Yes, there's a three-dimensional mirror, so to speak, but a mirror can only reflect that which is projected upon it. And so if Source is the dreamer with just imagination, and imagination is rising forth upon the mirror, and then we are experiencing the mirror, we have to be part of that dream. We are the dream of Source coming forth into three-dimensional reality, able now to literally be the dreamers ourselves. I sent along with the link tonight a little kind of a, I guess you might say, a short vignette from Yogananda, which talks so beautifully about how everything is but the dream of the divine. And we being the dreamer, we then are simply learning how to learn to create more interesting form from dream stuff. It's much like when you go to sleep at night, you start dreaming, but everything in your dream, the car you dream, the people you dream, the situations that you're dreaming with the emotion, the feeling, everything that's taking place, the whole scenario, you're dreaming it. It looks fantastically real, and you can feel yourself so caught up in it that the body literally has some visceral response. One can cry out in their sleep, or one can moan in their sleep, or one can even have kind of sexual fantasies that stir the body to some kind of movement, if you will. But again, it's all just a dream. And so within this dimension, you see, we've learned how through Source to be able to dream things with such dimensional clarity. And then we make agreements that we're going to believe it's real. It's solid. But we know that an atom is 99.99% space. The electron is no more than a fuzzy mass of thought. It's all just consciousness, and it's all just space. It is no different than what you dream at night. The dream at night, it simply comes forth from out of consciousness. It has reality, it has essence, it has emotion and feeling. Just imagine that you could never wake up from your dream. But then for your whole eternity, no matter what you might call that, you're simply dreaming, you wouldn't know the difference. It would be interesting, it would be exciting, it would be tremendous movement taking place. You would meet interesting people and do interesting things, but you would have dreamed them all. You would have dreamed all the scenarios. This world that we are within, it is a place of dream consciousness. And because it's a world of dream consciousness, consciousness is simply the underlying fabric of everything that exists. The chair you're sitting on, consciousness. The clothes you are wearing, consciousness. The body that you are living within, formulated and is of consciousness. 99.9% space, but again, agreements that will taste it, touch it, feel it, call it real. And so this is the beauty of the star tetrahedron, that as we begin to master it, which is honing and refining the masculine to be a very clear and focused dynamic essence of attention and focus. The feminine of emotion, feeling is really then imagination. And so the doorway into the void is open. We simply imagine what we would choose to dream. We focus attention and feeling upon it. It arises forth into this dream world as the reflection. But more importantly, you see, it touched then the facets of the star tetrahedron, this spinning crystalline form, and then it refracts it, it reflects it, and it remembers it into holographic three-dimensional reality. And so you become a master dreamer, just as Jesus became a master dreamer. He was able to fully refine and hone himself to be the master of focusing, the master of emotion feeling, and then simply imagining and feeling low fish within the void. It arose forth, and the star tetrahedron simply holographically created it to be real. And because it was dreamed with such clarity and precision, it literally fed the body of those who consumed it. Becoming a master dreamer, to be able to simply create reality. Right now, every one of us is already creating our reality. We're dreaming it. We're just not often very aware of how the energy wave that is emanating out from us, the aura, is creating and magnetizing back to us the people, the situations. And so we believe that things are happening to us. But when we're able to hold our consciousness precise and clear, and within we are literally feeling and honing and imagining prosperity and joy and happiness and relationships and a world that is filled with grace and beauty, that is the world that we are moving to and creating. Yes, the old world is crumbling and falling away. It looks quite horrendous at many, many levels. But if you allow your consciousness to become focused upon it, and then your emotions get caught within it, and you're feeling angst or worry or overly concerned about it, you've lost touch with who you really are. A conscious being that is here to simply observe consciousness playing within itself upon the fields of reality, playing good, bad, light, and dark to learn within themselves in some future how to hone and refine consciousness to be free. We are most fortunate because we also have played all of those parts that you see taking place in the world, in our incarnational existence. Everything that is taking place out there, we have in one life played the same scenarios. But we learn that when you harm and hurt, you then receive that back. You make choices then to never hurt or harm again. We know that we have then in the past not really love, but manipulated and controlled. And so we have been manipulated and controlled. We feel maybe powerless. Nothing wrong with any of it. It's simply consciousness dreaming with itself in order to awaken itself at some future time to the beauty and the knowing that we are so blessed to have. So when we look out into the world and we see those things happening, if we can be the observer and send love to it, everything that's happening, all the participants, all the players, what looks like the good, what looks like the bad, if we can truly just send love and light to it, we are dreaming a new dream for it. If we dislike it and judge it and hate it and are worried for it, that energy is emanating out from us, and it's literally conglomeration of that energy comes, and then that's the co-participation we're in. We have a great choice upon the planet today, and that great choice is really understanding that it's all just consciousness that is dreaming, just like we dream at night. It's all that's happening. When you have a really horrendous dream at night, you don't usually wake up for days on end and go over it and moan and have some terrible angst about it. You realize it was a dream. When we see something in the world, because it is happening so viscerally in a time sequence that looks so long, when in fact, Earth's been around for 4.6 billion years. What is happening out there is but one tiny microsecond of energy. And in that microsecond of energy, the next microsecond in the future, there's going to be more harmony and grace for those people. It's the dream. And when we begin to refine and hone our consciousness as master dreamers, knowing that we can observe it, send love to it, but at the same time, begin to really focus our attention every day more and more upon what is good and true and beautiful and happy and prosperous and loving relationships, that focusing begins to create that as an energy wave emanating from us. We are creating the future. It's not just happening. We think, oh, the world's on this trajectory of, difficulties and travail. It's not true. We are the dreamers of creation. And if we dream in mass more and more because we have the power and the majesty of the star tetrahedron, which can focus literally nuclear waves of energy from us. This is what Jesus was able to do. There was literally a nuclear radiance that came forth. It was living sunlight. And if we are the walking sons and daughters of light, just like the physical sun, we are the sons and daughters of light in this dimension, things will change rapidly. And we can see that it's happening quite rapidly. There are so many more people out there who are becoming involved in consciousness, and they're now growing and studying and becoming. It's a worldwide phenomena. I remember 35 years ago when I began the work in consciousness, it was like walking through mud. And now there's light and there's joy and there's possibilities that are just streaming forth every day. New video, new YouTube, new book, new awareness, new understanding. It's just happening everywhere. And so life is changing dramatically. We just have to keep our focus clear. We observe it and send love to it, but then we come back to let me observe the joy and the magic of the dream that I will co-create with the other great dreamers I know. So one of the ways, of course, that we assist ourselves in summoning this energy from out of source is through our breath work. The reason being because it is from the open doorway within the heart chakra that when we're breathing in, we're literally breathing source from inside out. Spirit is the breath of life. We think it's oxygen, but oxygen is part of the dream. What has created the dream is the breath of spirit. And now we are touching into literally summoning the breath of spirit from inside out. And so when we're breathing deeply and feeling source arising forth, a gentle exhale, we are seeing, observing liquid, sparkling, golden, effervescent light coming from us. That has to be so. If we are focused enough on it, it has to be so. Whatever the mind holds attention on, it creates it to be. If the mind wanders, yes, it erases it. And that's why we're learning to keep the mind focused upon breath coming in, mind unwavering, seeing and feeling sparkling, liquid, effervescent light flowing from us. So let's do about 5 minutes of deep breath work. I'll simply take you through the entire focusing of it. So let's gently close the eyes and feel the body relaxing. Spine is nice and erect. It is the goldenrod of initiation. From the base of the spine connected to Mother Earth, crown chakra connected to Spirit Source. And with each deep in breath, from the open doorway within the heart, Spirit from out of the void is arising forth. Gentle exhale, sparkling, effervescent light is flowing through every cell and tissue of the body. You are dreaming golden light within and all around by summoning Source from the open doorway. Deep belly breathing. Gentle exhale. I am the living light. Sparkling sunlight, just like the physical sun. I emanate golden radiance. It is the wave of energy that flows from me and pre-creates my reality. I dream harmony and grace with my breath. From out of source, I originally arose as consciousness to now be the master dreamer that summons consciousness. I am the light. A higher truth was never said. I am the light, breathing source with deep belly breathing from the open doorway, the jewel and the lotus. a couple of more deep breaths, summoning Source. Emanating effervescent golden light. I am. And then very easily now, sunlight and peace emanating slowly, allowing yourself to come back into the now. So I'm going to take you through the sequencing of the star tetrahedron. Upper triangulation of divine masculine power, and the lower triangulation of divine feminine love, which creates this crystalline form of consciousness and light. We call it the Christ prism, but in fact, it is the mechanism of manifestation. Christ is not a person. It is the refinement of masculine and feminine into the mystical marriage. So let's go ahead and close the eyes and feel the body relaxing. Once again, we can be aware of the breath that allows the body to settle down and become peaceful. We bring our attention between the eyebrows and drawing a line straight back. Within the approximate center point of the head, we ignite the light. I dream the light with my imagination, filling the mind and brain. I am the light. I gently focus the light to the heart chakra at the sternum. Illuminating what already exists. The star tetrahedron has always existed. It has simply been covered over with veils of programming and separation. My love and my joy imagines and feels the star tetrahedron, upper triangulation of divine power. Lower triangulation of divine love. And as the star tetrahedron turns, the Christ star turns. And the vortex within the heart chakra into the void opens. And spirit arising forth, nuclear radiance, the void touching the facets of the star, just like the sun. I am the light. Let's sit quietly together and I will join with you and gather us all into the living light. And very easy now. Slowly coming back more and more into the moment. And when it's comfortable, to gently open the eyes. As we have talked a little bit about when you start observing things in the world or things are in your space, if we just go back to your breath work, the mind cannot be thinking if we're really observing the breath. So things start to get out of balance or it's a little weird. If we go back to breath work, we have then changed our reality. Our consciousness has moved to a new trajectory. So it's a very easy way to keep oneself in balance throughout the day. So we'll be back on schedule for December and look forward to seeing you then. In the meantime, have a very nice one. And thank you for coming and playing. Blessings.